Let's call this Budget Committee meeting for Tuesday, January the 5th, 2021 to order. We'll take roll and approve the minutes. Mr. Bowens? Here. Mr. Wade? Oh, I saw it, yes. Yeah. We see him online. He's here. Commissioner Stubblefield? Here. Mr. Glover? Here. And I am present, so we have a quorum, 5. The minutes are before us. Is there any additions or subtractions from our December 1, 2020 meeting?
I move for approval.
I've got a motion to approve by Commissioner Wade. Do I have a second? Got a second by Commissioner Glover. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I've got a question about the agenda.
All right, what you got, Dennis?
I noticed in here that we got something coming from Ashley McNulty.
Yes, that's correct.
I got the impression there might be something attached, and I've got nothing attached to what I've received. So if there's a handout, I'd like for y'all to send it to me.
Yes, it'll need to be sent to you because we do have two
so you didn't get the 2 pages with the agenda, because it was on the agenda. If you're wanting a resolution, there's a 2-page resolution and then a 20-something page that I didn't send, but I can send if you would like it.
Well, all I've got is the minutes and the agenda. That's all I've got. I don't have anything else.
I didn't get anything else either.
It wasn't attached?
Commissioner Glover saying he didn't receive it either.
I didn't either.
Mr.
Oh,
Bowens
really?
didn't either.
Okay. Well, let me go on ahead then and send that to you, because the agenda actually has changed. We added 2 items to it. We added, on number 4, we're doing a budget amendment for Tennessee Department of Agriculture, Division of Forestry for $2,000. And then we added number 7, where the mayor is going to discuss the American Disabilities Act requirements from the state of Tennessee. So let me scan that and I'll send it to you momentarily.
Do we want to call a few minute recess, or do we want to sit?
Well, they ain't got nothing.
All they've got is the minutes from previous meeting, and all they got is the cover page, and it's probably not updated as well.
Yeah, I guess that's what we need to do.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
it was in my email.
So you did get it in yours.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
I wish it was in mine, but it's not.
Okay. I just went ahead and scanned it, and I can get it sent to you.
We need to call recess. We can't go after that.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
So sending this to your, there you go, robcotan.org. Is that correct?
That'll be fine.
Okay. You should have it momentarily.
Just came through.
All right. So first on our agenda tonight,
So I got 2 emails.
what'd you get?
I got 2 emails with budget. One of them, I was looking back at mine. One of them's got that on it, and one of them didn't. The second one didn't. The first one had all that stuff in it. So
Okay.
maybe I'm a different guy, but
Good deal. Thank you, Commissioner Counts.
Thanks. I apologize, y'all. I'll just tell you this HR stuff has been over the top.
All right. Jumping in on item number 1, we've got Ashley McNulty, Robertson County's financial advisor. He's here to discuss virtually a refunding opportunity to refinance bonds for savings, and we'll let him jump right in and go with what he's got. I believe you're muted.
Go. Sorry. Can you hear me now okay?
We got you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, commissioners. So in the information here, I'll go over in detail. I'm sorry that for some reason maybe didn't get all the information, but you have two, as we monitor the county's bond issues and note issues for opportunities for savings in the future, we identify there are two issues. There's a 2014 bond issue that was issued at a 3.59% fixed rate with a final maturity of 2034. So it's got 14 years left on it. And then there was a 2015 bond issue that goes out, excuse me here, to 2026. So it's got a little less than 6 years left on it. And it was originally issued at a 2.489, and we're looking at in the current market about a 0.80% interest rate on that one. So the two combined in your numbers that we sent originally showed a 992,000 savings. When we identified the note issue, you actually put you a little over $1 million in savings. So $1,030,000 in the current market is what we're looking at in savings. Annually, it runs from about 70,000 per year to about 80,000 per year annual savings for the county. And that would be not extending any of the original maturities or restructuring or anything of that nature. It's simply for savings only. The little background information, the tax law changes, I believe in 2017, eliminated the ability to do a tax exempt advance refunding. And so these bonds would be going from a tax exempt rate to a taxable rate. That's something that's being done fairly common now. I know some of your surrounding counties, Williamson, Wilson, Rutherford, and some other counties have done these refundings here recently and have had good success with it. What's happening in the current interest rate market is the taxable rates are fairly close to the tax exempt rates. So when you're looking at a 14-year fixed rate of in the 1.4%, even on a taxable basis, it still produces a good level of savings. And so what that means going forward is you wouldn't be able to convert these back to tax exempt. They would be issued as taxable, and stay taxable through 2014, but you would receive those savings. And, you know, the likelihood of rates going below where they are right now, I can't predict what that will do. But this is, it's an opportunity for the county, again, to save a good amount. It does not impact the county's overall tax status. So when you issue new money bonds, if you have other projects later, you can still issue those as tax exempt. But I did want to point that out. It is a little unique from some of the other issues that we've done, but it does produce a substantial and a level of savings that would meet the state's benchmark requirements. Our proposal is to issue these and sell them competitively like we've done in the past to achieve the lowest true interest cost for the county. We come to the county and take bids and award on, you all would decide to award on the lowest true interest cost bid for the most savings that you could receive. And and we would of course recommend bond counsel, the firms that you all have used in the past. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll open the floor for any questions that y'all might have that I could help you with.
Any questions?
So I will say, since Ashley sent this information from last week, didn't you add, like, was it an extra capital outlay note that you saw? Was it the one for $2.7 million we discussed yesterday, Ashley?
That's right. It was it was issued in 2015, and I believe it was for the school system at that time. The school projects that were issued in 2015.
Right. It appears that it was $2.7 million, and I think $2 million was for Watauga. And Sharon and I looked it up yesterday. The $700,000 was for the new central office they're in, and they made an agreement to pay that back. So basically, that's been paid back. We won't get them involved in any of this refunding part because they paid it back through 21. So we won't be concerned with that. That's just something, an internal thing on our end.
Seems like a no-brainer to me. Anytime you can save this kind of money.
I agree.
I'll entertain a motion to approve then.
Oh, so moved.
I've got a motion to approve by Commissioner Glover. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a second by Commissioner Bowens. Any discussion? Question been called. Ready to vote? Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The ayes have it. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and I'll be available for any questions y'all might have after the meeting or at the County Commission meeting coming up. But I do appreciate the opportunity to work with Robertson County once again, and hope everybody stays healthy and well as we start a new year.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
So Ashley, we want this on the agenda for the January 25th meeting.
I think so. The key is to try to take advantage of the interest rates while they're low as we go into a transition with our presidential cycle and things like that. I don't know what the interest rates will do. So while the rates are low, I think it's a good time to move as quick as we can to get the savings for you.
Okay,
Very good.
thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you all.
Chairman, can I ask a quick question?
Sure, Dr. Causey.
The first bond that we're talking about, that was for Crestview, am I correct? That's 24 million?
Yes,
It's issued
Thank you.
2014, so it would be May
This one.
21st, 2014 was when it was issued.
Gotcha. Yep. Beautiful school, beautiful renovation. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
He's a chip off the block, isn't
He sure is. He's great.
he's something.
All right, let's move to item number 2. I've got Corey Drake Stewart, Solid Waste Director, to present a balanced budget amendment number 29 in the amount of $11,000. This is needed for bank charges for credit card payments and $1,500 needed for overtime and post-closure department. I believe Corey's online.
Yes, this was, it's a balanced amendment, just taken out of our rent equipment line, moving over to the bank charges line under transfer station. And then under landfill post closure, my overtime had went over when we had that problem site on the landfill and we rented the track hoe and my guy was staying over to get that job done. So just because we're open some holidays still in the next 6 months, we didn't want that overtime to go over. So we're moving that $1,500 from our evaluation and testing line over to overtime.
Sounds good. Any questions for Corey? I've got a motion by Commissioner Bowens to approve.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Wade.
Yeah.
Any questions, discussion? Question being called. Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
The chair votes aye, so 5 ayes have it. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you, Corey. All right, moving right along to number 3. We got balanced budget amendment number 30 for $22,250 for the elections department. And I'll turn this over to Jody.
Okay, I don't know if y'all will remember, but I think it was either last month or the month before. It was where she actually had extra things going on with COVID through the elections. And basically, this is a budget amendment for her to get those funds back. This is the second request that we're sending on that, and their overtime pay and election workers pay and some office supplies and some contract services. So her COVID funds were called CARES grant, which was different than some of that other funding that I worked with Amanda and we got back.
I move for approval.
I've got a motion to approve by Commissioner Glover. I got a second by Commissioner Stubblefield. Any questions or discussion? Question being called. Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so the ayes have it. Thank you, Jody. Number 4, we've got the balanced budget amendment number 31. This is $2,000 for the Tennessee Department of Agriculture Division of Forestry. And I'll turn it over to Jody to discuss.
Okay, basically, this is where they've been requesting $2,000 a year from the county, and I'm not positive why we didn't pay it for a lot of years. But last year, we realized that we needed to be paying it. They are providing a service for us, and we did not put it in the budget because we passed the budget flat. So there's a letter here dated December 1st to the mayor, and it was copied to myself, where they're requesting those funds. And I'm able to go on ahead and prepare a balanced budget amendment because we did get some extra funds from the workers' comp refund. So I talked this over with the mayor and Keith, and they thought that we should go on ahead and start it this year. And then they're also wanting to be in the 22 budget.
Something always in the budget. Always was in the budget.
Yeah, somehow it got pulled out,
Quit it.
but it was an error at some point, needs to be put back in.
No, we're not going back in.
We're gonna give them the money for this year
Yeah.
out of miscellaneous refunds, and then in the new budget, we'll get this
We're
thing
not going
right.
back any.
Previous
No.
years, no,
Okay.
just this year and forward.
I move for approval.
I've got a motion to approve by Commissioner Glover. Do I have a second? I've got a second by Commissioner Bowens. Any questions or discussion? Question being called, ready to vote. Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade? Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield? The chair votes aye, so the ayes have it. All right, moving right along, number 5. I'm going to turn that over to Jody about informing the committee of planning and zoning.
Basically, since we do the budgets and there's never really any capital funding put in the budgets, we had that resolution a few years back. And then this past year, we passed a flat budget. We did have planning and zoning. They needed to purchase a computer, and we also had where the assessor property needed to purchase one. Really, this is just to inform you that they purchased it. We've got to code it to capital outlay, but they did have funds and another line item in their budget. So this is just to keep the budget committee informed like we've always done in the past.
All right. Anything else on that one? All right. Let's move right on down the line here to number 6. And this is, we've got it in our packet here. We've got an attached email from Randy Davis, CEO and president of Northcrest Medical Center. And at that point, I'm going to turn this over to Jody for further discussion. And I do see where Randy's on line if we need to speak with him as well.
Okay. So as you can see, basically what's attached on the email is that they have $210,000 available from the Stokes and Virginia Brown Foundation, and it will help provide care to indigent patients in Robertson County. Randy Davis informs me that he has already spoke to our health department director, Rachel Ellis, and she will be able to help administer that. It's something that could last more than 1 year. So what we will end up needing to do is, once we get the funds in-house, go ahead and do a budget amendment, and then we'll have to track it so those funds are spent specifically for the designated purpose. And I was wondering, did Mr. Randy Davis want to add anything to that? We think this is wonderful.
Now you captured it, and so I'm here to answer any questions, but appreciate the opportunity to be able to work with Rachel and the health department to be able to help these patients.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Randy or?
No. Right.
I'll entertain a motion to approve then.
Make a motion.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Stubblefield to approve.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Glover. Any more questions or discussion? Ready to vote? Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade? Mr. Bowens?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. 5 ayes have it. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
All right. Moving right along. Number 7, I've got Mayor Vogel to discuss the ADA Requirements Act of the State of Tennessee, and I believe Trey will probably jump in and help us on this as well.
Yeah, hey, this is just a heads up. When I first took office, I didn't know nothing about this, and evidently it's been going on. I'm just saying that because of our budget last year, I didn't say nothing about it, but the state we're way behind the other counties on getting our ADA plan. I didn't know it was as complicated as it was. I thought it was something me and Chance and Trey could do and save the county money. I called Springfield and I asked Gina Hope to send me theirs to see what we'd have to do, what they did. And she said, "Are you kidding?" I said, "As big as a telephone book." They had a consultant had to come in and do it, and it cost them way over $100,000. But now that the state's kind of saying Robinson County is way behind the other counties, and I know we're not much further behind than Sumner, because when we did start this, Sumner hadn't even started yet. But now I think us and Laverne and Sumner's about the only ones that hadn't completed it. And I talked to Chris today and Dr. Causey, and he needs to be way ahead of his too. And this is something we keep putting down the road. It's in front of us, and there's no reason to keep doing it. We need to get it done and be done with it, and not because it's going to affect our federal funds someday on ADA facilities and money. And I'm just telling y'all that be aware that we're going to have to do it. We done kicked it down the road long enough. Trey, you want to add to that?
Also, about Sewell, you know, a whole lot of people, Sewell County.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we've got the plan started, but we told the state that we had one started, and that made them happy, but we're not moving real fast on it. And it's something that we're going to have to do. We can't keep putting it off. It's going to be.
What's it going to cost, Mayor?
That's what Trey's here for.
Yeah, all right.
Trey's going to be wanting permission to start getting some prices from consultants to see. I mean, this is pretty deep, y'all. Like Springfield had to measure sidewalks, showing the ramps on the sidewalks, all their playgrounds, and with the schools and their athletic facilities. This is a big deal. And of course, we've already got a lot of these ADA compliances in place, but we need to be showing that ones that maybe we'll be lacking on, we are maybe generating some money to start improving them. Hey, as long as you're moving forward, they're not going to say a whole lot, but when you start sitting still, then they get concerned. Go ahead, Trey.
Mayor, I got a question.
What you got, Dennis?
Tom's handed out and I ain't got it. You know, if we're going to do this online stuff, we got to have the information out here.
Give us 1 second. She goes scan it in.
Is the only one?
Yeah, that's all like that.
I'll start trying to get up there.
Well, it's really not only.
Well, you don't have to try. I mean, this information should be to you. We'll do a better job on that.
Well, I've just got
Minute.
No, hey, I get it.
Take just a minute.
That's my fault. This was kind of a last minute addition, and I'll take the heat on this one because
I'm not giving any heat, but I don't know.
I get it, but I understand.
It's not nothing I wanted to bring up before the holidays. I knew I was going to have to do it, so I waited until I said I'll do it the next budget committee. I didn't realize we was going to have a budget committee 2 days holiday.
Yeah.
You got it there?
While we're waiting on it to go through, this thing has been kicked down the road for years.
It's been discussed.
And it's time to get it done.
To me, and I think it's time we're going to have to tackle this dog.
Yeah, Mayor Vogel inherited this, and we're going to get it finished up. So.
Did you get it, Dennis?
I got it.
Okay, I requested, I guess yesterday, from David Brewer at the city of Springfield. I had spoken to them several months ago, and I knew they had this information. He was kind enough to send it to me. This is not a whole lot of information, but it shows you what they ended up, it cost them. They traded with a company called Weiser Engineering or Associates out of Nashville. They sent out RFPs, a request for proposals, from interested architectural engineering firms. Got the RFPs back, reviewed them, and then settled on Weiser. And this shows you what it wound up costing Springfield. So it was pretty expensive. And this is probably quoted from a good 2 years ago, because they worked on it for a year or so, and then they've had it done close to a year. The biggest thing that I see we would not have to do, that the city had to do, I guess it's the fourth line down, public rights of way. The city of Springfield, as any city would, has all kinds of city streets, traffic signal crosswalks, traffic signal actuation from the public and users, and all that has to be inventoried. We have a lot of county roads, but not so much, if any, sidewalks that we maintain, and I don't know of any traffic signals. They would be state. So that part would be left out. So comparatively speaking, 135,000, I would like to think maybe we could get it done a little less than that. But with you all's permission, or the mayor's permission, or who all, this would not cost us anything. I would be glad to put together an RFP, a request for proposals, send it out to interested firms. They will respond. It will not be a bid, but it will be they'll identify their staff that would work on it, other similar projects they've done, and they might have hourly rates for their various grades of people, engineers and technicians and whatnot. But we would get that back, the mayor and I, and whoever he says, Jody or some of y'all, whoever wants to serve on the committee, we would review them, talk with them, and then we could come back to the budget committee or commission in good faith with this is what it will cost, an exact figure, and this is the exact scope of services. So that's what I would encourage. If you want to move forward to, instead of guessing at a figure what it would cost, we could find out. And it would not hold up. It would be part of the process we have to go through anyway.
I would move that we follow Trey's recommendation.
Now, do we need a motion on this, or is this something the mayor can just direct them to do and come back to us?
If it's not gonna cost any money, I'd just make a motion saying you want Trey to follow through.
Yeah.
So I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Glover to get Trey to do exactly as he just discussed. And I've got a second by Commissioner Stubblefield. Is there any more questions or discussion on this item? Let's vote. Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade? Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. So we're gonna get this thing, get
Thank
some numbers
y'all.
on it.
I don't wanna pass this on to the next mayor.
All right. And I've got one more thing on the agenda, and it says, see attached proposed Robertson County, Tennessee budget adoption schedule for fiscal year 21-22. I can't believe I'm saying that. 2021-2022. Wow. Well, this is a preliminary schedule for 2022, and it sure does.
I want to tell the budget committee commissioners this. When I hit that lottery night, I'll pay for the 88 thing.
Good, thank you.
Is that tonight?
Night.
Okay.
Only thing I've got to say on this budget is where COVID's at. I'm not certain if we're going to have to move this up again like we did last year, but I hope this committee will direct department heads to come in as they did last year on the same number they had, no increases. I know our COVID funds, our relief funds are getting tight. And we may be dipping into our fund balance a little bit to solve some of those problems if the need arises. So I'm hoping that department heads will do exactly as they did last year and to come in with flat budgets. Does the adoption schedule look okay to everybody? And there's a chance we'll have to move it up. You know, last year the state required us to, and
Yeah.
it will not shock me we don't have to do it again this year.
And this is just the starting.
Yeah, this is just kind of a starting point like we do every year.
Well, do we need to approve it, or we just?
Typically, we do adopt it.
Typically approve it, yeah.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Bowens to adopt as written.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Glover. Any more discussion or questions on it? We ready to vote? Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So 5 ayes have it. That's all I've got unless we have anything else. Anybody else have anything? Well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Did we leave it to solid waste to go back about those charges on the credit card?
We did leave it to solid waste. And I think their plans, and I would be speaking for the solid waste committee, but I think they're going to be rebidding this out, with loading. And I think their plans were to build some money into that. Is that my understanding? So it may be several months away for this takes place, but I think that's their goal to build it into that some sort. Is that a correct statement?
That and chairman's asked for it to be on a separate account where it shows how much is being spent on the fees instead of just being locked in. ready.
Yes. So instead of just building it in, if it's a ton, then that quarter ton is gonna be set aside so we can say the credit card fees are being paid by that amount.
Then why don't we make every department do that that's collecting credit card fees? Why in the world do they think they can be something different than the whole rest of the county?
I
It
know.
doesn't make any sense to me.
It don't a lot to me either, Dennis. They're saying for the speed of going across the scales. So I'm going to go with what they're saying. I think maybe the old scales it probably was. With our new scales, we got a one way on and another way off, and it seemed like to me that.
Are you saying circuit court?
No, he's saying he's saying that this is the only department doing it differently. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right. We're having to break this fee out based on their weight per ton and break it out for them. Why don't we make them all the courts do the same thing? Because they're billing, they're adding it to it, and I don't understand why the solid waste think they could have an exception the way the whole county's working. Now, if their software on that scales can't do it, then I'm going to be very surprised.
No, I think the software is new enough version that it should not be with these new scales.
I should be able to make that just a feature on the software, and it calculates it as they're going across the scales.
Dennis, I'm not going to disagree with you. I've been mentioning it for 6 months, but that's why the resolution went to the county commission.
Well, I got one other thing I'd like to say, and then I'll shut up. Is that committee coming up for new commissioners being appointed to it? Solid waste.
That committee was in
In the September.
September.
Okay. I really think that I honestly think a budget committee member should be on the major, one of us should also double up on the major committees, committees for the major departments like EMS, solid waste, sheriff, so that we can help in understanding and bringing issues to that committee to start trying to resolve it.
The budget committee was represented until the last time Commissioner Glover served on the solid waste committee for many years, but he was taken off and replaced with someone else. And we've lost our representation. What have you been off of? A couple of months now?
September.
Like I say, all the major committees ought to have one of the budget committee members on it so that we can help bring information to the budget committee so that we don't get into situations like this. But if that's already been done, that's something we can do about it.
Dennis,
Yeah.
when it came up, what 2017, I voted against it. I think I was the only one that voted against the way the fee schedule as we're working with now. So it was passed 4-1.
Okay. Well, I've got several things, and I can tell you solid waste and the EMS I've got a lot of questions for them when they come for the budget committees.
Sounds good.
Dennis,
Yes.
there's nothing stopping you from coming to their meetings.
Like I say, I do these things online, and if I see it and I can get to it, I do. But you know what? Some of us have to make a living too, and I can't get to every meeting. I pulled off of some stuff today to be here for this. This is I give it a priority, and I give all the committees that I'm on a priority. But can't make it to all of them.
Well, I mean, it's going to evolve, or it's probably going to come back before the budget committee.
Well, their budget will, so we'll talk about it then if we have to.
Sounds good, Dennis. Thank you.
Okay. Talk to you later.
And I've got a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Stubblefield. Do I got a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is over with. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.